All right, guys, thanks for tuning back in. This is Chukwu's channel. I am Wu. As I noted, I'm starting a new series. It's called Wu on the News. What's the purpose of this series? In my opinion, the world is becoming very polarized. The nation is becoming very polarized. Depending on which news outlet, which source you use to get your information, you're only getting one side of the story. My aim here is to give you two sides based on facts. I'll offer up my opinion towards the end of the video. You guys can make your own and form your own opinions. So let's get started. Today we're talking about cryptocurrency. The two sides are should you or should you not be investing in crypto? So let's jump right in. What is crypto? Crypto is essentially a form of digital currency that operates through the blockchain. Some of you may know blockchain is cutting technology that essentially leads to the decentralization of transactions, which is one of the underpinnings of it. It has other underpinnings and use cases, but basically you're staying off of the SWIFT network, which is the interbank network for processing financial transactions. And theoretically, your transactions are relatively anonymous. Okay, so what are some of the pros? One, there's the great opportunity to make some money, quite frankly. I think in the last 2 years, from Q1 2023 to Q1 of 2025, now we're in Q2, Bitcoin has basically gone from 20K per coin to 100K per coin where it stands now. Very few assets, precious metals, equities, commodities that can say they 5x'd in the last 2 years. So that's tremendous growth opportunity. That's the first thing. Second thing is obviously you have a diversified portfolio, equities and stocks, precious metals, gold, silver, if you're getting into that space, which I actually am myself. And then you have Bitcoin. The more diversified and horizontal your portfolio, the better opportunities to, number one, make gains, and then two, protect yourself from the downswings in one area. Let's say pharmaceuticals, if you're invested there, goes down, you have crypto. Let's say crypto starts to go down, you have precious metal, etc. So the more diversified a portfolio, I think we all know, the healthier portfolio. Third pro, again, it's decentralized. Your transactions are not being monitored for the most part. You're not on the SWIFT network, and allows for some people a degree of anonymity that they found or find very valuable. Okay, so those are three pros. What are some of the cons? I said one of the major pros is the price, and it keeps going up, but there's also quite a bit of price volatility in crypto. Bitcoin, for example, I think it's seen corrections in the last 3 or 4 years of over 20% or more at any given time. Now, some people may not say that's a huge correction, but 20% is quite a bit of money. You're putting $1,000 into Bitcoin, you wake up 2 weeks later and it's down to 800. That's a significant hit. And I think I want to point out the fact that, number one, I'm not a financial advisor, although I've been an investor for a couple of decades now. But two, sometimes the price swings on paper prevent you from realizing the degree to which those changes actually impact you. So my opinion is a 20% swing is a big swing. So don't forget that. A couple of the reasons why you might be against it, there are some cons from an environmental perspective. Depending on the degree to which you are concerned about the environment, Bitcoin in particular, other types of crypto, the activities that go into mining or creating these coins are relatively energy consumptive. They take a lot of energy and they can be deleterious to the environment. So there's the environmental aspect. And then the third reason why you might want to proceed with caution if you're investing in cryptocurrency is the fact that the regulatory environment changes relatively frequently. 4 years ago, the previous administration, at least in the US and in China, was very anti-digital currency, I would say. Prosecutions from the Department of Justice, the SEC, shuttering of financial firms that offer digital assets. Now we're in a much more pro-crypto environment, but that could change with the next administration. So there's always the uncertainty that comes from the regulator's perspective and how they view digital assets, and quite frankly, whether or not it's a threat to the underlying currency of nations, which is a theme that you hear. People don't say it necessarily flat out, but it is a theme that you hear in some of the regulatory frameworks that are put out there. Now, what is my opinion? I'm relatively pro-crypto for some of the reasons that I named before. It allows for portfolio diversification. Blockchain is a cutting edge technology, and I think the degree to which you familiarize yourself, number one, with blockchain, and you're able to invest in some of these digital assets is going to be long-term a positive. If you're a relatively risk-averse person, I'd say look at the healthier and the more stable, the more recognizable coins like the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, the Litecoins even, although I know Litecoin has sort of fallen out of the fray as far as the amount of attention it's getting from crypto investors in the last couple of years. I still think it's a relatively good coin with a relatively solid use case. My advice, and again, I'm not a financial advisor, is invest small amounts, dollar cost average as you will, and hold. Don't necessarily look at the price of these cryptocurrencies every single day. That's going to create a lot of panic in you. If you're anyone, if you're somewhat like me, I like to invest. Maybe look at it in the medium term, the long term. Pick wisely. Start small. Start cautiously. Dollar cost average if you can, and just see how it goes as part of a diversified portfolio. So that's today's video. We talked about cryptocurrency, gave you an overview of what it is, talked about pros and cons of investing in it, gave you my opinion. What are your thoughts? I'm interested in hearing those in the comments. Again, thank you for tuning in. This is Chukwu's channel, another episode of Wu on the News. Keep checking back. I'll keep uploading videos. Let me know your thoughts. Have a good day.